Hey fellow artist, I am so glad you're here with me today. We're going to be painting this Mother's Day flower pot painting. Make sure you have all your supplies ready. So you're going to have your canvas, which already has the lines on it for you, and you're going to have your paint and your brushes as well. Also make sure to have a little cup of water and paper towel so you can rinse your brushes. I do suggest wearing an apron. This paint is washable, but only if you get it before it dries. I do have my youngest little artist with me, he's 1, and I have my puppy here, so you may hear noises during this tutorial. Please feel free to stop this video anytime you want, take a break, come back to it tomorrow, any way you want to do it. You don't have to rush through this, you don't have to do it all at once, you can definitely take your time. Another option is going over all these lines in a black Sharpie so that you can see the lines even when you're painting over them. You might get some paint on the lines as we paint, and that's okay. We can always go over it and fix it. But if you want to feel more comfortable with a dark light, like a dark black line, you can definitely go over it with a Sharpie. All right, are you ready to paint? I'm so excited. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the background, which is this lighter blue color. All right, so go ahead and get your light blue color ready, and let's start painting the background. Okay, so I'm gonna get my light blue, and I'm just gonna go around on the outside so you can see where my flower is. I'm just gonna go right around the lines. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna go over it with our flower petals anyway. So you're just gonna go all the way around and paint the back. Now, once you're done with this background, you can stop, let it dry, and take a break. I'm gonna try to keep going for you just so that you have it all in a video all at once, but you are more than welcome to pause anytime. So we're gonna go ahead and do this blue. Now this is intended for a Mother's Day canvas, but you do not have to do it for Mother's Day. It could just be a spring canvas. It can be maybe a Mother's Day gift for your grandma or for your aunt or a friend, or maybe for you. And you don't have to put mom on the tag. You could put anything you want on there, or you could leave the tag off altogether. So all these lines on here, these petals and flowers, they're just, I guess like a guideline, maybe something to help you with your creativity, but you can take them away. You can paint right over them and not use them at all. So it's all completely up to you. Another thing while we're painting the background is you have the option to paint the sides of the canvas as well. So you can come right down as you're painting and paint the sides if you want to. You don't have to, but you can if you'd like to. I probably won't right now just so that we can get through the tutorial, but I can always go in afterwards and paint the edges as well. So we're just gonna go all the way around, just like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because remember, we're gonna go over it with the other colors, like for the petals and the flower pot and all that. So just enjoy painting this pretty blue color. I love it. It reminds me of the sky and of the beach. It's one of my very favorite colors. You might hear my other little artists too. They're in the other room, but they're playing, and you're probably gonna hear them. That's what happens when you're a mom and you have your littles around. You're gonna hear noise. But that's all right. We can still paint and be creative. All right, let's keep going. Now you're gonna see also these little spots in here. I do have those blue on here. So we can just fill those in. Again, they don't have to be perfect because we're gonna go over it with other paint. So we're just gonna keep going all the way around. And we're gonna get in these little areas right here. If you want, you can grab one of your smaller brushes if you feel more comfortable getting in these smaller areas. That is completely up to you. I'm gonna continue using this size, the bigger size, just because I know I'm gonna be going over it and I can fix all that up a little later. Okay, so we're gonna keep going in here and filling in where we're gonna see the blue for the background. And it might just be a little touch of blue you're gonna see, but that's all right. We'll get it all filled in. Okay. Also, as we're painting these flowers, you do not have to paint them in the same order I have done. You'll have the pink and the purple colors, but if you want to paint them all pink or all purple, you are more than welcome to do that because you're the artist and you are the one that's being creative. So it is your masterpiece, however you would like it to be. They're just ideas that I've given you so that you can run with your creativity. Okay, all right, I think I have all the background done. So we're gonna let that be now. If you see some little spots that maybe paint built up a little bit, you can just kind of spread those out just a little bit. You can hear my 1-year-old, he's playing with a football right here with me. All right, so we're gonna finish that. Now, if you wanna take a break, go ahead. You are more than welcome to take a break, or we can just keep going. The next thing we're gonna do is the white down here for the tablecloth. So this cute little pot is sitting on a tablecloth and with a cute little floral design. So we're gonna go ahead and grab some white and then paint that. All right, so now let's go ahead and put the white. Just in case you don't have an extra paintbrush right now, you can go ahead and rinse out that blue one and use that for the white. So I'm just gonna go right over this little area here. I know it looks like I'm painting over that design, but you still can see the design through the white. So again, if you wanted to use a Sharpie, you could easily go over all this with a Sharpie so that you can see a little better. All right, but you're definitely able to see the lines through the white, which is really helpful. Okay. All right, so we're gonna continue to paint all the white down here, just going around the outside of the name tag and the outside of the flower pot. Just like that. And I'm just going lightly enough that it's covering nicely, but I can still see the design underneath. Okay, and just going right up to this blue line where the background is, right across and coming back down. And now if you get some into the blue line, the blue background, that's completely fine. We can always go back over that again. Okay, just like this. And we're gonna finish the bottom up right there. All right, time to move on to the next part. Okay, once you've rinsed brushes and you're all ready to go, we're gonna grab that darker blue, so it's almost like a teal. Yes, he's got some things to say. Okay, so it's like a teal, darker bluish, greenish color. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do that for the flower pot. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead here and paint this. I'm gonna go all the way straight down. I know that you can see the purple right there, but I'm gonna go over with the purple, so I'm not worried about trying to get around that little ribbon right now on the sides, okay? So I'm just gonna go like this, work my paintbrush. Again, if you wanna use a smaller one, you are more than welcome to use a smaller one. And we're gonna be cleaning everything up with the colors that go on top of the background colors. So don't worry if you get some things a little over the line or it's not quite perfect. That's okay. It does not have to be perfect. We're gonna make sure it looks good, but we're not aiming for perfect. That's what makes art so fun, is that there's little unique things in everybody's paintings. We can take the same exact painting, the same exact template, and they can all look so different, which is really cool. So I'm just going around the leaf as well, the petals. Okay, there's a little bit of a lip of the flower pot that comes out right there. We're just gonna fill it in. Bring it down. Now, if it's a little challenging to get a good straight line, once the background is dry, the blue and the white, you could always take like a piece of paper or even put a piece of painter's tape right there, and that'll help you get a good, nice line. I don't really worry about that too much. But if it kind of bugs you, which I know sometimes it bugs me too when I can't get the perfect straight line, you can always grab a good piece of painter's tape and that will help. All right, so let's finish here. Almost done with this flower pot, and we'll be able to move on to the next part. So we're just trying to get all like the basic background things. I like to work from the back and work my way forward to the things that are in the front. And you can always touch up things in the background again. It doesn't mean once we moved on that you can't go back and fix things up. You can always go back and fix things up. That's the good thing with paint. You can always add some more some more into it and fix it with other paint. Okay, so what you can do now is, you can see that this blue covered pretty well. Now this blue, you can see maybe more streaks in it. What we can do is let this dry for a minute and then go right back over it and clean it up with the paint again, just to kind of give it a really good coat. Because we're gonna go ahead and go in and do some highlights in there to make it look like this lip of the flower pot is standing forward a little bit more. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and work on the highlights, like I said, of the flower pot. So whether you've just done 1 coat or 2 coats of your flower pot, I want you to make sure that this flower pot stays wet. So if it dried already, that's completely fine. Just go ahead and take your paintbrush and just go right over it again. But you want this to stay wet so that we can blend. If this is dry, you're gonna get a very dry brushed look. And we wanna try to go for a nice blended look on this flower pot. So when you think of a flower pot, you know that this lip comes out a little bit more. So we're just gonna give that a little bit of a highlight. So we're gonna take some of our white on our smaller brush, and we're just kind of gonna, oops, I'm about to lose my paintbrushes here. Thank you, sir. My little one is grabbing my paintbrushes. Okay, so we're gonna take our white on our paintbrush. It doesn't have to be a ton. You can always add more. And we're gonna kind of trace right where the lip of the, I don't know if that's the right word for it, the lip of the flower pot is. And you can add some more white in there, just a little bit here and there. And then you're gonna go ahead and grab that blue paintbrush. Mine has some extra white in it because my little one stuck it in the white paint, but that's okay. We're gonna go with it, okay? And you're just gonna go right over that, and you can see it's pulling it. And if you can see, sometimes when I stop, my lines aren't matching up. It's completely okay for you just to go all the way through, because we're gonna go over that with green anyways. All right, now you can put as little or as much as you want on the white to bring it out. It doesn't have to be a crazy amount. I usually try to go over just to lighten it, and then I'll grab some more white and just kind of leave a little bit thicker lines on there, not blend it as much. Okay, just like this. And I don't want to go too far down because I want this to stay darker right under this line so that it looks like that's pushed back more. So we're working on pulling things forward and keeping things pushed back. All right, so just like this, all the way through, and you can just kind of add it here and there. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to add a little bit, I don't know if you can see right here on the side too, and maybe a little bit right in the middle of the flower pot, but I'm gonna leave right under this line darker because I just wanna make a different, like have it to be different, differentiate between the 2 spots on the flower pot. So I'm gonna pull some white down here. Again, I'm gonna take my blue paintbrush and go right over it while it's wet so I can blend it down nicely, just like that. And then you can also bring it in some like this, and not worried about that right now. If you got your Sharpie, you'll still be able to see. If you don't, it's okay. We're gonna go over the bow together. So just add a little bit here and there. Again, add just a little bit at once, at the first time, I can't even talk. Add a little bit at first, and then you can always add some more as you're going. If you're like, that's not enough highlight, I need to add more, you can always do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep kind of going with the shape of the flower pot as well. So how the flower pot is rounded, I'm kind of just gently, slightly making my brush in that rounded way going with the flower pot. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it like that for right now. I can always add more later, like I said, but I think that's pretty good. So now that that is gonna be drying, we're gonna start working on our flowers. So you can see you'll have pink and purple. And the reason I have different shades is because I added white. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with this first one in the middle. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna start with the purple right here. You can change these flowers to however you want them to be, all purple, all pink, light purple, dark purple, whatever, however you wanna make them. But I'm going to be, oh, hello. I'm gonna be starting with this purple one right in the middle, and I'm gonna take my medium brush for this one, just so I can kind of get in those smaller areas with it. All right, so get your first color ready. I'm gonna go with purple, just the purple as it is, and I'm not adding white yet. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go over my flower petals. You just take your time and go right with them all the way around. And we'll go ahead and give another coat too, because you can see sometimes colors we use are transparent, more transparent than others. Like this one, you definitely can't see through as much. but this purple right now is definitely more see-through. So we're gonna go ahead and do the first coat. And I, when I'm outlining my brushes, I'm actually keeping my brush up and down instead of this way, so that it gives me a nice fine, like a nice fine line. So I'm just gonna go right around, just like this. Okay, I'm gonna do all my, sometimes I like to outline them first. You can outline then brush them in, however you want. Okay, and I'm not gonna touch that middle part. I'm just gonna go right around it. So we leave that middle for the yellow or whatever color you want it to be. Okay, just like this. Now I'm gonna tell you too, while I'm thinking about it, you can see that some of these flower petals overlap other ones. So I have it drawn on here so they overlap the right way. But if you decide you want, if you decide that you want a certain one forward, that's okay. Or if you go over one and forget that that line's there, that's okay too, no problem. All right, so we're just gonna keep painting these in, just like this. All filled in, and then we'll let them dry, and we can go over a second coat. And they'll dry as we're painting other parts of the canvas as well. Or if you've taken a break, they'll dry too. Okay. It's almost done filling in this first flower. All right, now I have, since I'm using this purple, you can see on here that I have the purple on my ribbon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and do my bow down here. Since I already have that color, you don't have to do it this way, but I'm going to, just because I'm gonna let him dry up here for a little bit so that I can go ahead and do the other petals without smearing the paint all together. He's down there making raspberry noises. Yeah, that's a fun noise. All right, so I'm just gonna start with the circle in the middle of the bow. And I'm gonna follow the lines of the outside, it's like a very rounded triangle. Or like an ear, almost kind of looks like an elongated ear shape. I'm just gonna paint this. And this one again is gonna have to be gone over too, but that's all right. Just some paints are more opaque or more transparent than others. So. I'm just gonna finish filling in that bow. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the outer part of my ribbon as well. Just right here and up. The little teeny square shape right there. That just shows the very edge of the ribbon that's tied around the flower pot. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll put the second coat on that. And then we're gonna go ahead and start on another flower. So you can either take this, actually we can do this right now. We can go ahead and lighten this purple and do that for one of the flowers. You can see I added some white to lighten the purple, or we can go ahead and start in another color. But I'm gonna go ahead and lighten this purple since I have this brush right now and it's ready to go. You're just gonna take a little bit of white. So you'll have your purple paint and your white paint. Go ahead and get a little bit of the white, and you can put it on a plate and mix some of the purple with it. And you're just gonna mix it until you get a good shade that you want. It doesn't have to be super light. It can be just a tad light, or it can be super pale purple. So you're gonna see mine's right here. So this is what mine's come out to be. I'm gonna go ahead and just go right around these flower petals here. And I might touch into this one a little bit, and that's okay, because remember, we're gonna go over a second coat anyways to clean everything up. Okay, I'm just going right around that petal, because this petal is gonna be hanging out behind this guy over here. So let's keep going around this. Just go through all of these right here. I guess these flowers are kind of like, I don't know, Gerber daisies maybe, or just kind of, I don't even know what kind of flower they would be. Maybe just, I don't know, some kind of daisy maybe. Hey, it's all right. Oop, It's gonna try to climb the table too. Oop. I can see I got a little bit in that circle, but that's all right. We're gonna go over it with the yellow, so it'll be all right. All right, so let's get those light purple petals painted in. Whoopsies. He's got a wooden paint palette. Yeah, and that's fun to throw. Okay, it's all right. All right, so let's get those finished. And we're gonna move on to the next color. So I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna rinse this brush. I'm gonna grab a darker pink. All right, now go ahead and grab your pink. We're gonna work on doing the pink flowers. I chose to do the darker pink for this flower right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it on this one as well. And I'm taking that medium-sized brush, and I'm gonna do the same thing we did with the other flowers right here. I'm gonna go right around the edge of the petals and cut in where I need to so it looks like that petal is under the other ones. And this is another opaque, wait, no, this is another transparent color. That we're gonna have to definitely go over again. And that's all right. We're just gonna get this first base layer of our petals on. Okay, and I'm gonna be careful not to go in the middle. If I do, no problem. We're gonna go over it with yellow anyways. I'm gonna fill them in. This one as well right there. Now you can see all my flowers have 5 petals. I think that it looks better. For some reason, it's just pleasing to the eye when there are 5 petals on a flower. You could definitely do more or less, I guess. But I don't know, I always choose to do 5 petals for some reason. I think I just like the way that it looks. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and finish those. And now I'm gonna go ahead and use that pink. I'm still using the same brush I have, and I'm gonna add some white to make the 2 lighter pink flowers. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the white, a little bit of the pink, and mix it on my plate or palette, whatever you have. And I'm just adding a little white. And there we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the edge of the other 2 flowers, and we'll have our petals all ready to go for their last coat once these are done. Again, if you wanted to do all the same color, that's completely fine. You can do that because we're gonna add some highlights into the flower just to kind of make them stand out from each other too. So if you had all bright blue, goodness gracious, dark pink flowers, that would be completely fine because we were gonna add the little highlights to separate the petals from each other. So you would be able to see the different flowers. Okay, and one more petal on this flower, and then I'm gonna move down to the other one. Now this painting is fun because you could make the flowers any kind you'd like. If you wanted to do, you could do sunflowers and just make more petals and elongate them too. So there's so many different things you could do with this idea for a canvas, like a flower pot canvas. Maybe your sister loves sunflowers, or your best friend loves, I don't know, pansies or roses or something. You could definitely do a flower pot canvas with different types of flowers. All right, this is just the one that I chose. I guess these made up daisies. Okay, gonna finish up these ones down here. Just like that. Hey. It's all right, okay. All right, now those are done for the first coat of them. Now, while those are drying, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the leaves. Let's get those in. I'm gonna use the same brush I have. I'm just gonna go ahead and rinse this and grab my green. All right, I got my green ready, and I'm gonna go in on and fill in the leaves. So again, I'm gonna hold my paintbrush up and down to give myself a finer line as I'm tracing over the leaves, just like that. Okay, and I'm gonna go right around the petals, keeping it up and down so I can get a finer line. And then when I'm in there, then I'll put my paintbrush down so I can get a thicker line to fill it in a little quicker. Just like that, okay? And again, we will go over these as well. So we're just gonna try to get them on there so they're ready to go. I'm gonna come down to this one down here. Oop, okay, just trying to shake the table. Hey, what are you doing? You see that? Oh, thank you, thank you. Again, I'm just gonna keep my paintbrush up as I go around the outline of the leaf, and then hold my paintbrush down flat to fill it in. And there are 2 more leaves. And again, you can add more leaves, like if you think you want one there or there, add more leaves. That's not a problem at all. Okay, you can also add like little curly Q things coming off as well with maybe a thinner brush. Little swirls coming off your bouquet of flowers in a flower pot. All right, so we got this one here. Just gonna bring it down to a point, just like that. And this last one over here. Just like that. Okay, now that those are drying, we can go back in and continue to work on our flowers again. So I'm gonna go ahead, rinse this brush and grab that dark purple again. We're gonna work on that one. All right, so we're gonna go over our second coat of our flower petals, and you can see already it's covering that pretty well. All right, so we're gonna go over these. What I like to do is get a nice good coat, a second coat on all these petals. And then we're gonna go in with the white and add some, a little bit of highlight to it just to give it some texture and make it stand out a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go all the way around, fill these petals in, get down around the circle of the middle right there for the yellow, and continue to fill these in. Just like that. I think I picked up a little white in my purple. That's okay. Right. Now I'm gonna finish these ones here, and then I'm gonna come down to the bow, and then we'll go in and add the white. Since I wanna keep the purple, the regular dark colored purple, and not lighten it onto the bow yet. Okay, and then this last little petal up here. Okay, now I'm gonna come down here to the bow again. We're just gonna do a circle in the middle. And those ear-shaped sides, and then little square shapes on the end. And then we'll come in with the white on both the dark purple flower and this bow. I don't know if you can see the difference. Maybe you can see it on your painting. Just the color against the purple against this turquoisey teal color, it just looks different. Even though it's the same exact color, but it's just interesting how colors interact with each other. They make some colors look darker or lighter or different, almost a different shade. It's pretty cool. Now I'm gonna make sure that this is wet. So I'm just gonna go over it just a little bit really quickly. Again, make sure it's still wet. Now, if you ever see like you're painting and you're pulling up paint, that just means it's still really wet, and just let it dry. It's kind of starting to do that right here for me, but I think we can manage because we're gonna put some white in there anyways. What do you have? He's down here playing with all sorts of things. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some of that white, and just like we did for here, I'm just gonna kind of go around, just kind of make it a thin line all the way around, and I wanna keep it wet because I'm gonna blend it, and I don't want a dry brush look. And I'm just kind of making big C shapes kind of on the petal, just going right around the petal, okay? Now I'm gonna grab that purple and go right over it. And you can see how it's leaving some white behind, giving it some texture to it. Makes it stand out more, I think. It just kind of, I don't know. I like the look of it. So, all right. And again, you don't have to do this. You do not have to add any white to your flowers. If you are satisfied with them being just that one color, that is completely fine. You do not have to add any white. Or if you just want to add white around the edges, you can do that. It's completely up to you. This is your art. Yes, that is true. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and take that thin white, and you can see I just added a little bit more white around the petals. I'm gonna do that right here as well. Okay, I'm gonna continue that just really light. Doesn't have to be so dark. Just like kind of wispy little lines to finish off the petals. There, all right. Now we're gonna move down to the bow and add some highlights just like we did up in this flower up here, okay? So I'm gonna go right around the circle, and then I'm gonna go on the outer part of the bow. And remember, we're gonna keep this wet, and then just a tad on the part of the ribbon that wraps around. All right, and again, I'm gonna grab that darker purple, just like I did with the flower, and I'm just gonna go around, just keeping with the shape of the bow, and then same thing up here. Just kind of pull that white down and in. I'm just gonna brush it around, just like that. Just kind of pull that white around. Okay, and then I'm gonna add just a little bit right here on the edge. I don't wanna go right up to the flower because I do wanna leave a little bit of a dark area just to kind of show that this is behind that, but the light still hits it tad. So you can see there's a tad, like a tiny little dark line right in there that kind of just separates these two. The bow from the ribbon that wraps around the back, okay? Just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab that white again, and I'm gonna make those really quick, light, wispy little highlights, just like that, okay? Nothing crazy, just a little, just to add a little bit more. Just like that. And then I can add to the top of this one. There we go. All right, so now I have those, and I'm gonna go ahead and move on to this light purple flower since I already have that purple on this brush. So let's go ahead and add, if you might be out of your light purple or it might be dry by now, go ahead and mix a little bit more white in with that dark purple. All right, we're gonna continue on with this light purple flower. So I've got my light purple mix. I'm gonna go right back over it, and that's gonna cover it much better. Just like that. Right over. And since I don't have another light purple thing on the canvas, we're gonna just go right into adding the white right after we're done with these, filling these petals in. Okay. If you wanted to as well, when you're done with this, if you want to add maybe like a ladybug or a butterfly, you could definitely add some other little creatures in with this flower pot. It doesn't just have to be flowers. You could add maybe a ladybug on a petal, or maybe a little butterfly in the back, or a ladybug or a bumblebee somewhere around the flower pot itself. Whoops, now he's dropping things. Okay, so now that I have my petals painted, we're gonna do the same thing we did with that other flower. Down here, I'm gonna grab some white, and we're just gonna go right around the flower petals, just like this. And we're gonna go right over them. Remember, we're keeping this wet so that it blends nicely and it's not that dry brush. I mean, unless you want the dry brush look, that's okay too. Okay, just kind of going with the shape of the petals. Down around this one. Back up through. We're just pulling that white paint around and down. And right here. And down. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make those little wispy lines like I did on the other petals. Just a little bit to finish it off. Just like that. Okay, all right, now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our pink petals. So go ahead and rinse those brushes and we're gonna work on those. All right, let's go ahead and grab that darker pink and work on these petals right here. We're gonna go right over them. Just like that. Now this one, I'm noticing that you are still kind of seeing through to the canvas, but what we can do is when we add some white in there to give the highlights, it will kind of cover it a little better. It'll kind of make it more opaque. So let's go right over. Just like that. Got this petal down here. And holding my brush up to get into those little areas instead of holding it flat. All right, let's continue these right here. And then we'll grab our white and start doing that since we're gonna be doing these light flowers too. Actually, you know what I forgot we should probably go ahead and get going with is the tag. I made the tag on here pink. Again, you can do whatever color you want. You can even make it a light pink, but I'm gonna go ahead and paint that pink right now so that it's gonna be dry when I wanna do a second coat on top of that. Just like that. And you don't have to have the tag. Remember that. This is everything I've done in here is just a suggestion. You do not have to do any of these things. So let's get this little tag painted and we'll move on to the light pink flowers. Okay, there we go. That one's done. All right, let's work on these light pink. Actually, wait, before we do light pink, let's go ahead and do the highlights on this darker pink one. So again, just like the other ones, we're gonna grab some white, just a little bit of white, and I'm gonna go around. You can actually fill in a little bit more on this one. Maybe it'll help kind of cover the background and make it not as see-through. So I'm just gonna do that. Add just a little bit more white than I did on the other ones. But we still wanna keep it darker than the other two light pink. All right, so I'm gonna grab that darker pink and go right over everything I've just done, all the white. Okay, so you can see right there. So it still kept it dark enough, but it's covering much better. So that happens. Sometimes you'll have a color and it just isn't covering the way you want it to. If you add a little bit of white, it'll change the color a tad, but it'll give you better coverage too. So, all right, let's go over these ones here. But it's still definitely gonna be darker than the other two, which is what I was going for. Just go back over with my pink, darker pink. Pulling that white around. Okay, there we go. And now I'm gonna go over again with the white, just doing little wispy lines, just kind of around the outside of the petal. Just like that. Really light, wispy little lines. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the light pink. So since I already have my paintbrush that has the pink and white mixed in, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up my light pink again. So I'm just taking a little bit of pink and a little bit of the white to make a lighter pink. You might still have some of that light pink if it hasn't dried up or you haven't used it all yet. But if you haven't, or you don't have it anymore, go ahead and mix some more white and light pink. And we're gonna go right over these ones right here one more time. And they're gonna cover pretty well because again, it's got that white in it. Okay. All right, go around these. Now sometimes when you paint, you can, some people like to listen to music, or some people like it quiet. Some people like to watch something on TV or a movie. Let's see, I usually have a lot of kid noise because I've got kids, but I think if I were to be painting on my own, I probably would listen to music, I think. Because I like to be able to focus on my painting but still have something I'm listening to. But I think if I was watching a movie, I'd probably be a little distracted. So, all right, finish up these, and then we'll go back through with the little white highlights again. Okay, I might have to mix a little bit more light pink again because I think didn't mix enough. I'm gonna grab some more of my white and my pink and mix that again. There we go. There, I'm just gonna touch up these two, make sure they're the same shade of pink. All right, now we're ready for our white again. So I'm gonna take that smaller brush, grab some white, and go right around those petals again. And I'm gonna do the ones up there as well, but we'll just start down here. Okay, grab that light pink and pull that white around and down. Okay, and the same thing over here on this one. And we're gonna pull that white around and down in through the petal. Down. Okay, and then I'm gonna do those little wispy lines again all around those petals. Just light, wispy lines, kind of wherever on the outside, wherever I want them. Okay, and then this one as well. Okay, now I'm gonna just jump back down here. I'm gonna take that, pink brush that I have. I know it's got the lighter pink, but I'm gonna grab some more of that darker pink and then just kind of go over that tag again. And I'm still able to see Mom through that. Again, if you want to change the name, you could, or you don't even have to put a name. You could keep a tag and put love on it, or grow. Definitely different options of what you want, what you can do. All right, so I've got that. I might add a little bit of white around that too. Let's see, let's grab that white and put a little white around this just to kind of add a little something to it. And go right back over. And I'm gonna pull that white in the middle too. There we go. I'm gonna add just a tad more white just to sit there too, and instead of blending it in. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and finish up those leaves. So go ahead and rinse brushes and grab your green. All right, we're gonna go over those green leaves now. So go ahead and just fill them back in to go over the second coat just to help it not be as transparent. Get a nice good second coat. I'm gonna go over all of them, and then we'll go back through with the white and do what we did with the petals. And you can make your petals bigger. If you want them to be a little smaller, you can. You want to be more rounded, you can. I just like mine with a point on the bottom, but they can be however you'd like them to be. You can also add little squigglies coming off the sides, just to give a little extra, or you can add extra petals too. If you don't think this is enough, that's all right. Your flower pot can definitely have more petals. All right, and one more up here. And I'm gonna make sure that my petals stay wet. So if you were to take a break and come back, just make sure you kind of do a quick coat back over these again to keep them wet if you want to blend the paint a little better. All right, so go ahead and grab that smaller brush with the white and do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of go over the edges a little, and I'm gonna pull that paint around and back in. So you can see I'm pulling it around just like the petals, and I'm gonna go, oops, there we go. I'm gonna pull back in just like that, okay? And do it with the other ones. Grab that green on that bigger brush, pull it around, and pull it in. Okay, and the next one down here, pull it around. And it's not perfect, and that's okay. I'm just gonna blend it, and I'm gonna pull it in. There we go. And the last one up here, we'll grab that guy and add some white to him. Okay, and pull that one down in. There we go, pull it around and down. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and add the white just like I did with the petals, just a little wispy white on the outside of my leaves, so you can do that. You could also do a little bit on the inside like that if you wanted to add like a little part where the line is. That's completely up to you. I'm gonna blend that in right there. So you can do it however you'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more around this one just to give it a little extra highlight. There we go. And this one. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and work on the yellow in the middle of the flowers. And so go ahead and rinse your brush and grab your yellow. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my bigger brush and the yellow, and we're gonna go ahead and make some big, huge polka dots pretty much. All right, so when you do this, you're gonna hold your brush up and down and kind of go in a counterclockwise and a clockwise motion, kind of 2 C's, all right? So we're gonna go this way. You can lift your brush, grab some more paint, and we're gonna go the other way. All the way around, okay? And that's gonna give us a nice polka dot, just like that. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other 4 flowers. So you're just gonna grab your paint on your brush. You're gonna do like a C, lift your brush, grab some more paint, and a backward C, all the way around. You don't have to do it in one whole motion. You can do like 2 C's or 2, I guess, well, not really crescents because we're filling in, but basically 2 C's with your paintbrush. All right, and we're gonna do these ones down here. We're gonna get them filled in, and then we'll go over with the white. They're covering pretty well, so since we didn't fill in all the way, the yellow is covering pretty well. Yellow is a color that I think is kind of tricky too, because it doesn't always cover the way that I want it to, but it's doing pretty good right now. So if you want to, you can definitely add another coat. But just remember when you add the second coat to keep it wet when you're gonna add your highlights on top. Okay, one more. And these, the middle of the flowers don't have to be yellow. They do not at all. They can be whatever color you want them to be. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my white again, and I'm gonna fill in some white on these little middle, I don't know why the name is slipping me right now, what the middle of a flower is called. But the middle of the flower, I'm putting white in the middle of the flower. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little. and going back over with my yellow, and I'm just gonna kind of go right back over that again, kind of in the same shape, the circular shape. I'm not gonna go in and like do something crazy and make like a square. I'm just gonna go right with the shape of the center of the flower, just like this. Okay. And this one here. There we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of the wispy white. And I'm probably just gonna do it on one side, not the whole way around, just a little bit. Again, just kind of like a C motion, lightly on one side of the center of the flower. All right, there you have it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and rinse my brush, my small brush again, and we're gonna go ahead and do the detail on the bottom. You can still see, again, if you haven't done the Sharpie, you can still definitely see the outline through the white paint. So we're gonna go over that, and then we're gonna go ahead and finish up Mom, and we'll be done. All right, now the little design on here is the same color as the background, all right? So we're gonna grab some of that. I'm sure it's probably dry if it's on your plate right now. It's probably dry from when we did the background. So grab some more, you don't need much, just a little bit. And you're gonna grab your smallest brush, and you're just gonna lightly go around the design. So it's like little petals. So I've got 5 little petals. And it's okay if you pick up your brush and keep grabbing more paint, that's completely fine. You can see some of them might go all the way around, some of them I pick up and pull up the other side, all right? And now I have little swirlies. So these are the things I was talking about you can actually put on the end. If you grab some green, you could do some of those around your flower pot. You wanted to. So I'm just gonna go right around here. And they're just kind of wispy. They're not perfect, solid lines too, which is completely fine. Just a little design on a tablecloth. Okay, just go around those. And again, this color could be, the design color could be pink or purple or the dark blue, or you could do one light blue, one light pink, one dark pink. You know, you could definitely change the color up on your tablecloth design. Or you don't have to do this at all. You could do polka dots, you could do whatever you want. Remember, this is your art. So you make it how you would like to. Right, now you can see also I did little dots. So how I did that, I just grabbed the back of my paintbrush, dipped it in the paint, and just did little dots, lightly tapped on my canvas. Just like that. You could use the bristles if you want, but I find it doesn't make as good of a circle when I do that. Kind of gets a little bit more oval shaped. All right, I'm just putting a little something down there just so it has, looks like the tablecloth pattern continues. All right, got a little swirl there, one over here. Hope I'm keeping this in the view of the camera. I'm just kind of being real, I don't know, kind of, I guess not whimsy, but like kind of real, whatever, I guess like kind of, not careless, but kind of really quick with them, quick and light with them. They don't have to be perfect. If you got one with a petal that's a little smaller, that's all right. They don't have to be exact. All right. Okay, now I've got these, and I'm gonna go ahead and add little dots around those swirls too, like I did with the other ones. If you want to add more of these, you can. You definitely can. I could add some more down here if I want like little petals to kind of like pretend like they're going off that way more. I can do that, just like that, okay? I can do it over here too if I wanted. Let's see. All right, so there we go. Now I'm gonna grab this small brush and I'm gonna put my word on here, whether you're gonna put mom, love, grow, I don't know, whatever you wanted to put, it's completely up to you. I'm gonna use the darker the darker color that I used for the flower pot. So go ahead and grab that. And I'm not even gonna worry about rinsing my brush right now because it had that light blue on there. And I'm just gonna use a darker blue. So it's gonna cover that. So I'm gonna grab that. Now you're just gonna be real light and careful with this as well. Don't push down too hard because if you do, you're gonna make your lines way thicker than you probably want them to be on this little tag. All right, so I'm just gonna lightly pull down for the M. And again, if you're doing a different word, that's completely fine. Whatever you would like. Okay, and I just did little lines on the end to kind of just finish it off and make it look cute. Just like that. Okay. And a little hump. And another hump, and I'm gonna put the little lines there, and there you have it. You have finished your gorgeous flower pot canvas, and it would be a great Mother's Day present or present for a birthday or just for yourself too. So I hope you enjoyed painting with me. I really enjoyed painting with you, and I hope you come back to paint more with me. I would really love that. I can't wait to see what you did. So if you want to take pictures and share them with me, you can share them at Lulu's Paintbrush or hashtag Lulu's Paintbrush so I can see what you've done. Thanks so much. Bye.